arts, literature, philosophy, and science in today's society. We are bringing in Ibn Khaldun, Firdazi, Omar Khayyam, Ibn Rushd, Aliyah Alvi, Al-Khwarizmi, and Saadia Garam. Now, there are so many amazing things happening in today's society, and we will be talking about many of them today. Our first guest is Firdazi.
Great, go.
By focusing on the lives of kings, heroes, and villains, and, in particular, the moral consequences of their deeds and actions, Firdazi touches on concerns and dilemmas that continue to plague and intrigue to this day. The struggle between good and evil, the proper actions of a leader, the meaning of truth, integrity, and loyalty. Now, here is Firdazi.
Hi, Daria.
So, I have a few questions for you today, so let's get to it. So, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I was born in Tusk, a town in northeastern Iran. I was a landlord and I mastered 7 languages. When I was about 20, I started experimenting with poetry.
What would you say is your most popular work right now?
I would say that my epic story of Persian kings and dynasties, like Shama, which means Book of Kings, is my most popular piece at the moment.
And what is that about?
Basically, it's about the struggle between good and evil. There's a lot of poems that merge together myth, legend, and history and explain the regions of Persian kings. I was in my mid-30s when I decided to write this piece. I felt it was important to write about it in the history of the Persian world.
This tremendous work has made you the most recognized and highly regarded writer among Persian-speaking people from Central Asia all the way to the Middle East. Well, thank you for taking the time to talk with us today.
No problem.
Okay, and now we have Al-Khwarizmi. Al is a mathematician, astronomer, astrologer, geographer, and a scholar in the House of Wisdom in Baghdad. He developed a set of astronomical tables based on Greek and Indian discoveries. Here is Al-Khwarizmi. Hello, Daria. Hello. So, today I have some questions for you, so let's hop right in. So, you use many tools in your life to help you with your findings, one of them being a quadrant. Can you explain to us what exactly that is?
Well, it is an instrument used for navigation and measurement. It is also helpful to sailors because they use it to measure the stars, which can determine their latitude.
So, you use it to help with your astrology?
Yes, I have in the past, but I don't use it as often.
Although you have a lot of contributions to mathematics, it seems that your most important one is how strong you advocate for the Hindu numerical system. Why do you feel that it is so important?
I feel that it has the power and efficiency needed to revolutionize Islamic and Western mathematics, and I feel that the entire Islamic world will soon adopt it into their everyday life.
Well, as you can clearly see, Al has done so much to improve mathematics, and I'm sure he will do much more. Thank you for coming on the show today, Al.
It was my pleasure.
Now, we will have a Muslim artist, Aliyah Alvi, after a quick commercial break.
Come visit our holy city of Mecca for your pilgrimage.
Mecca is a very busy town at the crossroads of several caravan trails.
During the Hajj or pilgrimage, millions of Muslims visit Mecca.
Annually, 15 million Muslims visit Mecca to worship or just for fun.
In Mecca, you will have the opportunity to pray up close towards the Kaaba.
The Kaaba is the holiest site in all of Islam and is a big deal for all Muslims.
Also, it used to house statues of gods and goddesses.
Even if you have made the voyage before,
it will be worth it to come on down to Mecca for another go-round.
Thank you for listening and book your trip now.
And now we have with us the artist, Aliyah Alvi.
Hello, Daria.
Let's get right into the questions. Would you describe yourself as a religious or non-religious artist?
Being a Muslim artist, I would describe myself as a non-religious artist. I specialize in drawing humans and animals. I also perfected calligraphy, which is the art of beautiful handwriting.
Have you worked on any projects that involve you to use calligraphy?
Yes, I worked on the flowing Arabic script, like verses from the Quran, into artwork on buildings.
Speaking of buildings, can you tell me a little bit about generic religious buildings?
Well, domed mosques and high minarets are very common in Muslim cities. Domes and arches are symbolic to Muslim architecture. Most walls and ceilings of the buildings are decorated with intricate patterns.
Interesting. Now, to wrap up this interview, can you give me any information on other kinds of non-religious artists?
As the years went on, Persian, Turkish, and Indian artists specialized at painting miniatures to illustrate books of poems and fables.
Let's give it up for Aliyah. Thank you for coming in and talking with us today.
No problem. Wow.
Now, let's jump into our next interview with Ibn Khaldun. Ibn is a very famous historiographer who has developed one of the earliest non-religious philosophies of history, which is one of his latest books, the Macadima. Hello, Ibn.
Hi, Daria.
Before we jump into the questions, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sorry. Well, I was born in an upper-class Andalusian family of Arabic descent, and I had some of the best education of some of the best teachers in the city. I think that my education was a factor into why I have a lot of interest in political and societal issues.
What would you say are some of your greatest accomplishments?
I would say that one of my greatest accomplishments is definitely memorizing the Quran, because I gained a good grounding in Muslim law, familiarized myself with masterpieces of Arabic literature, and I acquired a clear and forceful style and a capacity for writing fluent verse. That definitely served me well in life when I had to address epilogic or supplicatory poems in various rules.
Very interesting. And Aboon, I see that you have written many books, but your most popular is the Macadema. Tell us about that.
Well, it is basically an introduction to history. My intention in writing this is to write in a universal history of the Arabics and Berbers, but I also feel it's necessary to discuss historic method with the aim of providing the criteria necessary for distinguishing historical truth from error.
It is very important that you do discuss this because it could help historians in the future to tell historical truth from error. Well, thank you for sharing with us today. And next up, we have another Aboon, Aboon Rusht. Aboon is thought to be one of the greatest thinkers in history. He has set out to integrate Aristotelian philosophy with Islamic thought. I have a few questions for you today, so let's get into them. Who would you say is the biggest influence on you in your writing?
Well, there are many people who influence me in my writings, but the biggest one would have to be Aristotle because he is one of the biggest Greek philosophers of our time.
Intriguing. Once you started your writings, what are some of the things you started to discover about them?
I discovered that my writings found new existence and intellectual vigor in the work of Christian and Jewish philosophy.
Among Jewish thinkers, I feel that Aboon has the most positive impact. Thank you for coming today.
Thank you for having me.
Our next guest is Omar Khayyam.
Hi, Daria.
Omar made outstanding contributions in algebra, but he is better known in the West than any other non-Western poet. He is also a follower of ancient Greek philosophy. Now, I do have some questions for you today. My first one is, what is your book, Treatise on Demonstration of Problems in Algebra and Balancing of Them?
It's a book about algebra and has many different equations, such as it shows that a cubic equation can have more than one solution. Also, it shows how the intersections of conic sections, such as parallelograms, circles, and can utilize to yield geometric solutions of cubic equations.
And to think you're only 22 when you wrote this. Amazing. My last question for you today is, what are you most known for?
Well, my book that you just mentioned is something I'm very known for, but I'm also known for being a scholar, astronomer, physician, philosopher, and mathematician.
Wow, I think I can speak for everyone, but you just continue to amaze us. Thank you so much for coming in today.
My pleasure.
And now, with our last guest of the night, we have Sadia Gayan.
Hi, Daria. Thank you for having me.
Sadia is a prominent rabbi and Jewish philosopher. My first question for you today is, what are you best known for within the Jewish religion?
Hebrew text into Arabic, Jewish law and preventing a schism in Judaism by means of a simple argument.
And my last question for you tonight is, what writings do you think pushed your career to where it is now?
I think that when I began my writings to the Karaites, who were a different section of Jews, is when my career really took off.
Thank you for sharing with us today, Sadia.
Anytime.
Well, folks, I hope you learned something new with tonight's show. I know I sure did. Thank you to all of our guests today, and make sure to tune in tomorrow night at 8:30 for another episode. I'm Daria Jamal, and thank you for watching Muslims at Midnight, and good night.